Hello friends, and also hello enemies. Today is a fantastic day because we are looking at a Creative Beast Studios figure, and I love these things. If you know me, you know I'm a huge dinosaur fan, always have been. I also do work as a paleo artist, so figures like this are very valuable as far as reference material goes. But yeah, we just got this in. This is the new Carnotaurus from the CYBERZOIC line made by Creative Beast Studios. So CYBERZOIC is different than the Beasts of the Mesozoic line they have, even though they both have dinosaurs. This one is more of like a storyline with characters. There's also dragons sometimes. So sometimes you'll get a dinosaur figure released as a CYBERZOIC figure. Sometimes it'll be released as a Beasts of the Mesozoic figure. So far, Carnotaurus is only available as a CYBERZOIC figure, and I needed this. It looks fantastic. I love Carnotaurus. So goofy looking, yet so intimidating. Before I go any further, today's beverage is an iced latte from Dunkin' Donuts that I've been chipping away at for the past 3 days because it was huge. Also, can I just say that their donuts aren't good anymore? It's like they're trying to get away from making donuts. They don't want to be associated with donuts anymore, which is crazy to me. All I got was a regular glazed donut, and it was so bad. How do you mess up a donut? Anyway, here's the front of our box. Looks fantastic as usual. Love this artwork. Let's see who did this artwork. It should say Raph Lamotin. I hope I'm saying your name right. If I'm not, I really apologize. I have seen Raph's work before, and it is always beautiful. They get a lot of well-known paleo artists to do the box illustrations for these. The CYBERZOIC boxes are shaped differently than the Beasts of the Mesozoic boxes. They're more angular, I guess, in keeping with the theme. Here is the back. You get some information about the creature, a cool illustration of the mount in action. In this storyline, dinosaurs are used as mounts and like infantry units, and you could purchase this armor to equip it with and this dude to ride him. I actually thought about getting the armor because it looks awesome. But then I was like, I don't need dinosaur armor. I'm not going to use these for that kind of thing. They're mostly going to be referenced, so I don't need dinosaur armor, but it looks really sweet. So we've got our trusty razor blade. Let's go ahead and open this up. I kept the box for a few Beasts of the Mesozoic figures, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep keeping the boxes. I don't have room for that anymore. So before we move on, I wanted to point out that this insert in the back, it's a simple, cybernetic kind of grid, but there is a secret second illustration on the back. What I can only assume is a CYBERZOIC society, kind of a landscape of a city. The same city we saw in the art on the package's back. So I thought that was pretty neat. You could keep this and keep it as a backdrop if you wanted. In addition, you also get a card. I think they have all come with cards from the beginning. Like maybe even the very first ones, the Raptor ones, had cards on the package. I can't remember. That was a long time ago now. Man, time. But yeah, they're coming out with a CYBERZOIC card game, so I think you could use this in that. I'm not super interested in the card game, but I do like these cards for the art, so I keep these. I'm just not a card game kind of person. This is a hefty package. It's a big creature. And you get a big stand, too. This kind of stand is new, at least for me. My first dinosaur purchase in a while, as far as Creative Beast goes. So let's get to unboxing. All right, so this is a very large figure, most notably very long. Not all of it wants to fit in my frame, especially not with my tiny little Carnotaurus arms being unable to reach very far. Please forgive if the tail tip is out of view. But yeah, this is a big figure. It's an impressive figure. So Carnotaurus is a very interesting dinosaur. Yet another late Cretaceous dinosaur. Only one specimen known so far. Found in South America, and the specimen we do have is pretty good. It's not like, sometimes they'll discover a single vertebrae and have to kind of extrapolate from that. That's more often seen in species like Spinosaurus or sauropods. But for this one, we have a nice skeleton. Even had some skin impressions from this specimen, which is really cool. A great thing about these figures is that they are reconstructed as faithfully as possible based on the science we have available at the moment. This might be outdated one day, but for now, it's pretty scientifically accurate. I am already having it stand up using the included stand, but it can stand up by itself very nicely, actually. Part of that is because of these big feet, but you do get this nice stand just to make sure it doesn't tip over. And I'll get more into that later, but for now, let's look at the figure. Yeah, I like Carnotaurus a lot. I really like Disney's Dinosaur. I'm sure you've seen Disney's Dinosaur. I unironically loved that movie, but I was also a dinosaur-obsessed child when I saw it. I don't think it's bad, but the Carnotaurus the Carnotauri, there's a pair of Carnotaurus in that movie, and they are terrifying. I wouldn't be surprised if one day Creative Beast makes a red version of this as kind of an homage to that movie, because it was a pair of red Carnotaurus, and they were so scary. But it's a very intimidating looking dinosaur. It's a super interesting looking dinosaur. Very unique. We've got that super short head, a very sturdy neck. Got these horns above the eyes, and it's theorized that the horns were used to kind of headbutt opponents. Maybe not so much with a really strong force, but kind of like just gentle shoving, just to kind of show you who's boss, I guess. Super long legs, and very notably tiny little stubby arms. I love these little stubby arms. There's some kind of dinosaur documentary where they have a Carnotaurus doing like a mating dance to impress a female, and it's got its little arms out, and it's just doing like this. It's become like a meme, and it's so cute. Yep, little tiny stubby arms. Useless. Long legs, long tail. This one is pretty slender. As always with these figures, the scale detail is very nice. The wrinkle detail is really nice. Just look at all those bumps, and then you have those larger osteoderms. The paint is also really well done, as it usually is with these figures. Several different colors, a lot of different patterning, some dry brushing, darker body that fades lighter toward the head, where it culminates into a mostly reddish orange. The sculpting on the feet is so nice. The way those scales transition into scoots. Then you've got a little bit of rusty orange color on the claws. Let's open that mouth. Kind of short, stubby teeth, but they're all nicely individually painted. It's glossed on the inside, more detail on the inside of the mouth. The tongue is articulated too, just a little bit. So yeah, sculpt-wise, I don't expect anything less than amazing from Creative Beast at this point. And like I said, it's been a while since I've gotten a dinosaur. We got the Smilodon from them, and I think that was the last thing, and that was a while ago. So they've only upped their game since then. I remember the Raptor Kickstarter was the first dinosaur action figure thing they did, and in comparison, these new sculpts just like blow those out of the water, even though I still like the Raptors. There's just been a lot of improvement. You even have the cloaca. There's a little bit of a stray orange mark on mine right here. I do not mind stuff like that at all, especially when it comes to a naturalistic color and pattern like this. I mean, a real animal wouldn't be perfect, but yeah, I love the head. It's theorized that these would kind of run at larger prey and just deliver very quick slashing bites in succession, then kind of wait for the prey to bleed out, and that's when it would go in for the kill and feast. Man, I love dinosaurs so much. Patrick makes fun of me because he really does not like dinosaurs, but it's just like fascinating to think of these enormous creatures that we'll never get to see. I feel that way about other extinct fauna too, like mammoths and woolly rhinos and things like that, mosasaurs, all the sea monsters. It's just fascinating to think about. So let's get into articulation. I heated it up a little bit, so it should be good to go. But also, if I miss something, I'm sorry. So we saw that mouth open. Yeah, it's already cooled down significantly. You get a lot of movement with that head and neck. Up. Down. And individually it might not seem that impressive, but then when you have the whole body working in tandem, the kind of move as one unit, you're going to be able to get a lot more movement. We'll see. Right now I'm just kind of going through each individual body part. A little bit of movement at the torso, a bit of a swivel and hinge on the little hands. This one's moving out a little bit further. I think it just needs to be heated up again. It wasn't that stiff out of the package, but definitely didn't want to break anything. Ooh, up very far. Could probably even go further, but I don't want to stress it. Extend that knee and back. And then you get a swivel there too. Bend the ankle, back, swivel there as well. Then a rock on the hinge on the toes there. Instead of previous entries where the tail has plugged straight into the body, you get this extra connector right here, which allows for more movement. Makes it look more naturalistic. So you've got a few segments on the tail. Up, down, and then the very end is wired. So I've seen this thing get into some pretty involved poses. Straight up and down, like classic dinosaur pose. So straight up and down that it's not even fitting in my viewfinder all the way. Let's see if we can do like a sniffing the ground pose. Yep, you can do a sniffing the ground, inspecting the ground pose. For a lot of these, you are going to need a stand, just because in certain poses it's very, it's not really forward heavy, I would say, because the head is so small comparatively, but there's a lot of mass here. So the stand is interesting. Let's prop our Carno up against the wall. If she'll stand, this one is not impossible to stand up on its own. It just takes a little finesse. And I think I'll probably be using a stand with it all the time. Just, you know, for tipping reasons. Come on, don't make me into a liar. I know you can stand on your own. Close enough. So yeah, the stand is interesting. It's two stands, and you can slot them together with this connector piece. And then there's this arm, and you can slide it up or down, depending on the height you need, and then remove it by twisting it out. There's a second arm that's smaller. So this one I think is probably used to support the neck, while this one will likely be up under the torso. Slip that in sideways and then turn it and then attach the little holdy doodad. So you don't need both stands. It's nice to have both for added security, and there it's a little bit less ostentatious when you have just the one nicely supported in the middle. So it's a nice system. It's a unique system that I think works, and there's lots of options there, but I have to say I do miss the more naturalistic bases that the other figures came with, the previous figures. Those weren't great because they didn't seem to be sculpted with the figure in mind. There wasn't really on any of them a nice place for the figure to plant its feet. It was all really like rocky and naturalistic, which is great looking, but I find that my figures don't really want to stand on those rocky naturalistic bases because there's just nowhere really for their feet to like comfortably stay flat. So they're not great as bases in my opinion, but they look awesome. They look great with the figure. It's like a nice semi-diorama piece, and this is just, you know, this is just plastic. I'm not knocking it because I do think it's a really great system, but yeah, I do miss the like rocky sandy bases. The good news is, well, I don't know if this is true or not. I'll have to test it out. The feet on these still come with the holes, so you might be able to peg these into those other bases. I have one for Gorgosaurus that this might work with, but I'm not sure. As it stands, this peg does fit into the hole on the foot right here. So you don't even really need this if you just want to peg it into that hole and kind of adjust it, just give it a little bit more stability. So let's talk about accessories. It does come with accessories. Oh, in addition, you get these foam pads for the stands in case you want a little bit more stability, which is nice, but then they won't be see-through when you attach these. Obviously, they'll be black, which you might prefer. So we get some alternate feet for our Carnotaurus running feet. So this is a foot that's going to be lifted off the ground all the way. And these are feet that are in the process of being lifted off the ground. So like that. So you get nice options for feet. I also like that we don't have completely different legs for this. For the other, the last theropod wave, I think all of them came with 2 sets of legs. You had one set that was just standing and then one set that was articulated. You only need 1 pair of legs for this. In addition, we have options for horns because the horns found on Carnotaurus were just bone that would be covered in some kind of keratinous sheath. We don't exactly know what that horn would look like in life, but we can kind of guess. Here are some damaged horns. Very neat. Here are some kind of like wavy horns, and I like the fading into more of a black color at the tips. And these are similar, except they're not wavy on top, and they're just a little bit shorter than what is attached to our Carnotaurus. So yeah, nice horns. You have options. You can replace those very easily. I kind of like these shorter horns. Just stick those in. I mean, you can mix and match too. You can give it 1 damaged horn. So you've got options there. I think I do like the shorter horns. Damaged horns are cool too, though. So let's put both the short horns on there. All right, I have it in this pose. It's pretty simple, but I actually really like it. Just fitted with a walking foot kind of striding forward, looking off into the distance, tail raised. Simple, but dynamic and interesting. So this is a 1/18th scale figure. I don't have that many 1/18th scale creative beast figures just because they're large, obviously, and expensive. The 1/35th scale works more in my budget, but I do have a few we can use to compare. Here is, and it's going to be difficult to kind of see them together because they're both long, so I can't really line them up. And obviously this one is a little bit taller because of the base. But this is the 1/18th scale Gorgosaurus from the Tyrannosaur line. One of my absolute favorites. And you can see what I'm talking about with the base. It's a really nice base. I like it a lot as like a diorama piece. But yeah, when the figure's on it, it's not super sturdy. There's just this one peg and the ground is kind of uneven. So it's not the best for actually having the figure stand. But anyway, here is a comparison of those two. 1/18th scale, you can see the updated articulation in the theropod type body plan. There are more sections of the Carnotaurus neck, more sections of the tail, and of course we have those legs that are articulated where we only need one set, whereas this is equipped with standing legs. I'd need to attach the other legs if I wanted to get some articulation in that ankle. I mean, still an amazing figure. This is one of my absolute favorites. Mostly because it's blue. Let's not kid ourselves. Man, I would love a blue Carnotaurus. So there's that one. And here is the Pachyrhinosaurus from the Ceratopsian line. As far as we know, these two would not coexist. Pachyrhinosaurus is a North American animal. Carnotaurus has only ever been found in South America, but I mean, who's to say? So this was a later line. It wasn't as early as the raptors, but even then you can see the discrepancy between the scales and the detail. And even the paint, this one's a bit simpler than this one. This one has a lot finer detail, a lot more involved paintwork. I mean, this one's still incredible and I still love it, but not quite as detailed. They just really keep getting better and better. And the last dinosaur I want to compare it to is the PNSO Tyrannosaurus Rex Cameron that just came out. This is a 1/35th scale T-Rex. I don't have a 1/18th Rex, but I do have this guy. He's a fantastic figure. If you're interested, go watch the review because I really like this. T-Rex isn't my favorite dinosaur, but this is a fantastic figure. So yeah, just a comparison between Abelisaur and Tyrannosaur, 1/35th scale and 1/18th scale. So this is how it looks with a pretty standard sized figure. This is a Black Series Hasbro Mandalorian. So as you can see, very, very large, very rideable. I think Mando could ride this. He could ride it better if I'd gotten that armor. Do you ride a Carnotaurus on the neck or right before the hips? Probably right before the hips. Not bad. Maybe you don't need a saddle for this one to ride it. And of course, Wasteland Neil. So obviously these these figures are not in scale, but they don't have to be. So that's going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. These are always a pleasure to review. They're among my favorite figures to ever exist. If I had the means, I'd probably get every single one. But yeah, I just absolutely love to review these. Really great sculpts, color schemes, articulation is improving. And yeah, as I said, as a paleo artist, a really great reference too. So that is going to do it for today. As always, likes and subscribes are very much appreciated. Comments are more than welcome. And I will see you guys on the next one.